Hey guys, what's going on? Sherman here. I want to make this video to kind of play with and test out this Sogfari machete that I got for Christmas. I believe this is the Walmart exclusive version. All the versions I saw online were coated black, and this one is, as you can see, satin. This is the 10-inch Tanto Machete, as you can see. And like I said, I just wanted to play with it and test it out. Haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. You can see by my apparel, it's pretty cold out today, but I still wanted to kind of just test this out. Like I said, give me an excuse to make a video. This is, like I said, the 10-inch version. I want to see how this Tanto tip assists in chopping. I don't see how it would, but it does look very cool. And of course, you know, you can hit zombies on the head with them. So like I said, I don't see how a Tanto tip would really aid in chopping power as a machete. Like I said, we'll see how that works. Out of the box, it is rather sharp. I have sliced a few pieces of paper with it. The edge has some spots here and there where, you know, it's kind of rolled just from the factory. That's okay, it's a machete. It's not supposed to be absolutely razor sharp. I don't believe it's a full tang. By the feel of it, it feels like it stops about a quarter of the way in the handle, which, like I said, isn't that big of a deal because it is a machete. But it is weighted very nice. It is, it does have some heft to it because of the shape. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell. You can see by this angle, but it kind of curves downward a little bit. And it does have some more mass towards the tip than it has towards the handle end. So it is top heavy, which is good. It's going to aid in chopping, which, like I said, it's this purpose as a machete. But it's not so heavy that it feels unwieldy. It is very smooth. It is very easy to control. So that is very nice. The handle is like a textured plastic, as you can see by this pattern right here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the SOG Aegis and the Trident, but they have that same kind of stippled pattern. It is very comfortable. I do love the handle. It is extremely comfortable. It has this nice double guard, which is very important in my opinion for fixed blades, for bushcraft, and for chopping, because it keeps your hand from slipping off. So you can kind of choke down on it and you don't have to worry about it flying out of your hand. It does have a lanyard loop, so you get some extra security. It has a steel skull crusher here. It's not going to aid in anything bushcraft, but here again, it just looks cool. It's going to appeal to the zombie killing crowd. It has a saw back, which I'm going to test out and show you guys how this works. I'm not real sure. It does look very aggressive, but we'll see how that saws through wood. It's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Some people are going to like the sawback because they might be able to notch wood with it. Some people are going to not like it because if you had a flat spine, you could possibly baton with this if you had to. Light batoning, that is. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot of batoning with a machete. The blade steel on this is 3CR13. It's in the MOV steel family of like 8CR13 that most of you are familiar with. It is a stainless steel, but a lot of people are under that misconception that stainless means it's never going to rust, which is simply not true. It just means that it's going to take a little bit longer to rust than a carbon steel, but it is a stainless steel. It is not a very high-grade stainless steel, so it probably won't hold an edge for too long. But like I said many times, this is a machete. This is something you're going to take out in the woods. You're going to trailblaze. You're going to chop small limbs with it to get out of your way. Vines, little things here and there, zombies. So, like I said, we are going to test this out and just see if just how it holds up. These are not expensive. Over the holiday season, Walmart had these on sale for $20, which is great because the cheapest that I've found these online so far has been about $25 roughly, plus maybe $5 shipping, so about 30 bucks. So this is a great deal for this knife, or machete rather. It does come with a nice sheath. It is a nylon sheath. See embroidered SOG right there, very nice looking. It's a pretty good sheath for the money. Like I said, for 20 bucks, you get this and you get this sheath. It does have a plastic insert inside, so it's not just the nylon. It has a belt loop. If you're really clever, you can find out a way to make a Kydex sheath for it. So anyway, let's get to chopping. Now guys, along with reviewing and showing you guys a product and how it holds up, I also feel like it's my responsibility to also promote safety. So it is important to wear eye protection when doing things like this because I have been chopping at logs like this in the past and had a big piece of wood fly up and hit me right between the eyes. Left a very big whelp, and if it had gone any more to the left, any more to the right, I could be missing an eye right now. So very important to wear eye protection when doing stuff like this. Now, I realize that you're not always going to be able to have the luxury of eye protection when you're doing bushcraft, but this is a test. I'm not out in the bush trying to survive. So no reason why I shouldn't be wearing eye protection. Also, it's not extremely necessary, but I like wearing gloves when doing this kind of thing. It does give you a little extra grip, and it protects you from getting things like unnecessary splinters or cut hands, which, you know, out in the bush, if it becomes septic, that could be a big deal. And also, it's just annoying. So I like wearing gloves. Is it that necessary? Not really, but eye protection's important. So there's your little public service announcement. So we have lots of limbs here to choose from. I'm just going to start by chopping away at some of these smaller limbs. Like I said, this does have a little bit of weight to it, so it's working really well. Got a knot right there. It's actually doing a really good job at taking these little limbs off this branch. And like I said, this does come rather sharp out of the box. Like I can show you guys. Like that's pretty impressive for a machete, especially a $20 machete. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's pretty impressive. You're actually getting little small shavings off of this, so you can make feather sticks. Let me show you guys that in detail. I don't know if you guys can see those little shavings I'm getting off there, but that's pretty good. So that means you can do little tasks with this big knife also. You can take the back end and just... Oh wow. Let me actually move the camera in a little bit so you can see better. There's a fairly deep cut going in there. That is pretty impressive. I didn't think that the saw teeth would be that sharp, but you'd be proving me wrong. Say you wanted to preserve the edge of the knife, and you wanted a nice clean cut, this would work really well actually. Now I will say, when doing this, that back swell right here kind of digs into my wrist, so just keep that in mind. You might want to choke up a little bit like that so it's not an issue. It's getting caught up a little bit, but you can see the spine of the knife is not that thick, so it's actually working pretty well. And at this point, you can just manually break it. But that worked pretty dang well as a saw, I'd say. Not normally what you do with a machete. Let's just see how it chops for a second. Not being a full tang knife, you don't want to do too much chopping with it. It's actually doing a really good job. Rotate it. That's something you don't want to do either. When it gets stuck, don't move it side to side, because it's a pretty thin blade. Not being full tang, you can break it in half. or make it come out of the handle. That worked surprisingly well. That is a pretty dang sharp machete. Alright, so I'm going to test the chopping power. Just maybe you had to process some smaller pieces of stick. Let's see how it just kind of, see how it chops. Very well. That's just one swing. Obviously, you want to be very careful doing this. The downward, the kind of downward shape this has, like I was saying, when you're holding it, it kind of curves down. It almost acts like a guillotine, the way it chops. So, it's pretty cool. I don't know if it was intended that way, but that's kind of how it's feeling to me. Seems to be aiding in the chopping power. Working very well. Hit a knot on that one. A slightly bigger piece. So I did that one. This is so much fun. Let's try out this little tip, the secondary edge right there. That is really sharp, actually. You guys can tell. Make a little feather stick out of it. So that could be something that you guys could do. You could sharpen this secondary tip and make that more of your fine task portion of the blade, because it is very sharp. I'm getting very fine curls using that edge, and that's not really a part that you're going to be using when you're chopping. You can save that just for your fine tasks. And let's see how this goes. Not sure if this is going to work, but let's try it. There you go. It was kind of hard because you're holding onto it here, and you're chopping it there, and it's very hard to keep it stable. So it is kind of difficult not being able to baton up here. But as you see, I went through it. Maybe if I start up here. So not something you'd normally do with a machete, but it is very capable. If you had to use it in this way, really, you can see where it's coming in contact with those serrations. So we're not doing that much. You could actually process a good amount of tinder before you had to replace your batoning stick doing it this way. But it's actually working really well at batoning. And because it's such a thin knife, so you can do a lot of fine work with this machete also. So now I want to test out the effectiveness of the skull crusher. Absolutely no purpose that I can think of in bushcraft or for anything you'd use a machete for, but it's just cool. Now, I do believe it is a separate piece molded into the bottom of the handle. Like I said, I don't believe it's a full tang. So let's try that out. It actually sank the entire skull crusher into the wood. It is a little bit uncomfortable doing this, but I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this. Let me just take the camera. It actually sank it all the way into the wood. As you can see, skull crusher. It's almost all the way in there. So very strong, very effective. Not the most comfortable thing in the world to do, but you can do it to take care of those zombies. All right guys, so my opinion of the Sogfari machete is that it is an excellent machete, especially for the money. About 20 bucks at Walmart. I think this, like I said, was an exclusive. You can get it roughly around $25, $30. I still think you're getting a great deal. This is an excellent machete. It chopped, it did fine work, it batoned, it did everything you want a machete to do, and actually more. It was very comfortable. The grip was great. I did not feel like it was unwieldy at any point. I didn't feel like I needed a lanyard, even though you could put one on if you just prefer. The saw just really surprised me and worked great. It didn't break. I imagine it's going to hold an edge fairly well. But like I said, it's a fairly soft steel and it's a machete. You don't need it to be real razor sharp for it to be effective. So, incredible machete for the money. It really surprised me. The shape worked great at chopping. I didn't know how a Tanto machete would do, but excellent, excellent machete. If you're in the market for something pretty cool, pretty different, but extremely effective, definitely look into the Sogfari 10-inch Tanto machete. All right guys, hope you enjoyed this field test video. I will be doing more footage of this and more videos in the future, maybe actually going through the woods and like trailblazing, but hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed chopping up stuff with this beast. So have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay sharp, and God bless. Sherman 614. Peace.